September 22nd, 1938. Dearest Max, here I am, writing to you by candlelight in this modern day and age, and it makes me wonder if the modern scientific devices are of any use in an emergency.
Minnie Boguslavsky was working as a bookkeeper at Aben Hardware Company on Bank Street in New London when, on Wednesday, September 21st, 1938, a hurricane swept across New England. She wrote a letter describing her ordeal the following day.
To begin with, I am the luckiest person in the world to be able to write it all, as I was never nearer death's door than yesterday in that terrific hurricane which came upon us with no warning.
A 64-page pictorial edition of the New London Day, published October 1st, 1938, described the storm as New London's greatest disaster.
In the memories of all of those who went through it, the afternoon of September 21st, when the hurricane struck, will forever remain as the most fearful and awe-inspiring period of their lives.
And it got very dark and the rain started.
And I thought, the wind is starting to blow hard.
Things were flying through the air.
It was like a freight train coming through your house.
We just huddled together and all that, just praying.
And suddenly he came running in and he just shouted, "Here it comes."
The water was just starting to seep in the back doors.
And there was a huge fire in New London.
Oh yeah, I was scared. Frightened. Yeah, we all were.
We thought it was the end of the world.
The next day you would not realize, if you didn't see trees down, that anything had happened. The sun was out and it was beautiful.
And people began to store up hurricane stories, which they've been telling ever since. And of course, in those days, hurricanes didn't have any names or numbers. And we always said, well, it didn't need a name, we just called it the big one.
Who in the world ever believed that a hurricane would strike these parts? Maxie, you have no idea what took place here. It is simply unbelievable unless you witnessed it with your own eyes.
Never in the memory of living men had such a terrific storm lashed this section and had found a populace wholly unprepared to resist it and wholly at a loss as to methods to escape from its wrath.
It was a beautiful day. It was a warm, sunny, very humid day.
I think it blindsided us because, one, it moved so fast.
2 days earlier, the hurricane was moving at 15 miles per hour off the coast of Florida. By the night of the 20th, it had picked up speed, racing north at more than 60 miles per hour.
We had been home for lunch at noon, and, there was nothing on the news.
As the hurricane passes within 75 miles of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, the United States Weather Bureau sticks by its prediction that the storm will curve out to sea. One junior meteorologist, Charles Pierce, shows it taking a different track, north toward Long Island and Connecticut. He is overruled.
We didn't know what it was.
Nobody thought it was something terrible. It was just a northeaster.
We thought it was a bad northeaster, because they had those frequently.
We had never had a hurricane. Nobody knew what it was.
Prior to 1938, the only major hurricanes known to hit New England were the Great September Gale of 1815 and the Colonial Hurricane of 1635.
We just had no clue.
They didn't have the instruments that we have now to tell you a week or two that it's coming. No.
At 10 a.m. on the 21st, the Bureau issued a gale warning from Virginia to New Jersey. At 2 p.m., the Bureau warned that the storm would likely pass over Long Island and Connecticut in the late afternoon or early night. By then, the beginnings of the hurricane had already hit the shoreline.